Hello and welcome to something a little different. Now, I've done a fair few painting videos where we simply follow along with one another. I'll show you the colours that I'm using, and then you can follow along and get results that are similar to what I'm doing. What I thought might be interesting for a change of pace was to talk about some of the theory behind that. So I'm going to introduce you to something which will sound ridiculous, but I swear to you is not just made up, okay? What I'm going to introduce, if you ask award-winning painters about this, I swear to you, they will back me up. I just don't know what most people call it. Now, back in the day, I first read about this. This was in a very old White Dwarf article, and it was called the magic triangle. Now, like I said, might sound a little silly, but I swear there's something to this. So I've got here a few examples to show off. Show these off up close and give you an idea of what I'm talking about. This is more about composition in your painting schemes. You'll tend to find that most of the sort of official stuff, particularly if you're working with Games Workshop or maybe Mantic and similar, they bear these in mind with their color schemes. But if you were going to do something for yourself, you want to make up a color scheme, then this is something to bear in mind. So let's get a look at these things, and I'll tell you what I'm trying to explain here. So, up close, let's get a look at this commissar. Now, the magic triangle is talking about usually a spot color, which is used to draw attention to areas of the model that you want the viewer to be paying attention to. So if we look here, I've got this sort of faded tassel yellow color, but it shows up here, here, and here, which draws the eye in. There's a lot of red happening too, and of course it's not always going to be a triangle. You'll see there's a sort of a straight line from his hat to his belt and how that flicks out to the side there. But as well, consider things like the brass. This brassy section here, which goes across to some of the detailing on his hat and his chest, and to his weapon as well. Same too with the silver. Now, as I point out, this isn't always a triangle, but you'll tend to find that's the shape that best describes how folks tend to use this to call attention to an area. Now, this White King is being a little difficult. He doesn't want to be in focus. But if we have a look here, same thing again. I've got very bright marks. This was the Hellfire. Oh, it's the green ghostly one. It's very cool. 1, 2, and then over here 3. So that when you're looking at them from, the right angle, it frames all of this that's happening here. Your eyes sort of pinpoint straight away where those 3 bright sparks of color are. Now, same too, you'll notice on this fella as well, he has got a red cape, but very little of it actually shows up. Here, here, and then again at the bottom. So we're getting a similar sort of, inverted triangle effect. The cape, if I were a cleverer painter, I might have tried to, incorporate that into his crown somehow, but que sera. Now, the Stormcast are probably one of the best examples of this. Straight away, you can see you've got 2 big blue shoulder pads, and then he's got the blue bits on the bottom there, and he will have that triangle shape, whether he's carrying the shield or not. Straight away, you're looking at the center of the miniature. It's pretty, it's instinctual. But these guys also have a very clever weapon, this dangly whatnot, which I can never remember the name of. I'm sure someone will tell me. And you've got this design on the shield. Now, some folks will paint that in white, but you'll still get a similar flow when you see that on a painted miniature. It's crazy. Once you see this, you're going to see it on everything, okay? Now, on some miniatures, it might not be so obvious. For example, this Genestealer Cultist, or if you're painting Astra Militarum, for example, Cadians with their beige fatigues, you might wonder, well, where is that triangle shape then? Well, the way that this dude holds his weapon across his body, 1, 2, and then underneath, straight away, we've got all of that action. We've got the weapon across his front, black gloves, all this white armor and what have you, is framed by those orange sleeves and his jacket. Very simple to do. And then again on this fella, but this is a little more subtle. Check this out. We've got the little bronze detail hanging from his chain here, and a little bit of gold here. Then we've got the hazard stripes up the top. Believe me, if you ever want your audience looking at a specific part of a model, just use hazard stripes, because they are designed to draw attention. Now, as I said, this is just something to consider when you're looking at making up your own colour schemes, and I swear you will see it on so many different things. Thinking back to those Imperial Guardsmen, if you look at where the white marks are, their helmet, their chest, and the eagle on their weapon, okay, all these little marks are designed to get your eye to follow something. So I have discovered that actually looking up the magic triangle online doesn't give you any help whatsoever. So if you know anybody who's really into painting, or maybe you can try Reddit or Facebook if there's a painting group there. I swear I'm not just making this up. Ask about the magic triangle, okay? And if you've got any questions, as always, feel free to drop them in the old comments box below. I will try and get into a little more of the theory of some of these painting jobs in the future. I think they can be kind of interesting if you're looking at sort of going beyond just the paint by numbers sort of stuff that I'm doing so far. So, hope something there was interesting to you. It's just a little bit of food for thought, and you all enjoy the rest of your day.